After 6 years behind schedule and billions over budget, Toronto's Line 5 Eglinton finally opened on February 8, 2026. But the story isn't just about delay. It's about the design changes, legal disputes, coordination problems, and testing issues that pushed the project further behind. The idea for a crosstown line goes back to 1985, when it was first imagined as a busway. It resurfaced in the 2000s as a light rail line, with plans revised several times. Construction officially began in 2011, with hopes it would be finished on time, but delays started immediately. Schedules slipped, budgets ballooned, and the project kept getting pushed back, until it finally opened on February 8, 2026. In the end, the project took about 15 years to build and cost nearly 13 billion Canadian dollars, more than double the original $5 billion estimate. From the outside, the delays seem straightforward. Tunneling through a dense urban corridor while keeping traffic and businesses running above ground is never simple. But once construction began, other challenges arose. In July 2015, Metrolinx, Ontario's regional transit agency, awarded a long-term contract to Crosslinx Transit Solutions to design, build, and finance the line. However, work under the contract didn't begin immediately. Major activity only ramped up in March 2016, nearly 9 months later. As construction progressed, designs submitted by Crosslinx required review and approval from both Metrolinx and the TTC, Toronto's main transit operator. A significant portion of the designs didn't meet requirements and had to be revised and resubmitted. This back and forth alone caused months of progress. In some cases, partial design packages were submitted to allow construction to start earlier. But without complete excavation plans, unexpected complications later required redesign work during active construction. For example, in early 2020, crews found unexpected cavities in the concrete under Eglinton Station, which meant work had to stop and be fixed before tunneling could continue. These kinds of discoveries not only delayed schedules, but also increased costs. Legal disputes between Metrolinx and Crosslinx also added delays. In 2018, Crosslinx filed a lawsuit alleging that setbacks were linked to permitting and other issues. A settlement later provided additional funding in exchange for revised completion commitments. The COVID-19 pandemic introduced further disruption. In 2021, Metrolinx and Crosslinx reached a $325 million agreement to address pandemic-related impacts and other construction challenges. Although this was a unique global event, it compounded existing delays rather than being the sole reason for them. Further legal proceedings emerged in 2023, reflecting continued disagreements over contractual responsibilities and operational readiness as the project neared completion. Meanwhile, more than 200 issues were identified during system testing that had to be resolved before the line could open. Taken together, these delays show just how complex large infrastructure projects can be. Responsibility was shared among Metrolinx, TTC, private contractors, and municipal authorities. Even routine decisions had to pass through multiple agencies. Small issues could take months to resolve, pushing the timeline far beyond the original plan. In some cases, construction began before designs were fully finalized, leading to mid-project adjustments and further delays. Legal disputes between stakeholders also added to the complexity, with different parties at times blaming one another. While COVID caused some disruptions, it wasn't the only factor. Problems appeared long before the pandemic and continued afterward. Toronto is not alone. In New York, the East Side Access project was delayed by construction challenges and coordination issues between contractors and stakeholders. In Maryland, the Purple Line light rail was halted for 2 years after its original contractor quit, following years of delays and billions in cost overruns. In California, the high-speed rail connecting San Francisco and Los Angeles has gone over $100 billion over budget, and has been delayed for years, if not decades. Each of these projects face different technical and political hurdles, but the common thread is that complex transit work rarely goes exactly as planned. This is a reminder that even wealthy cities with modern engineering face major hurdles when delivering big transit projects. As Toronto moves forward with projects like Eglinton West and the Ontario Line, there are clear lessons to take from the Eglinton Crosstown. First, design approvals need to be more efficient. Having a single streamlined approval workflow could prevent months of delays in future projects. Second, designs should be finalized before construction begins. For instance, knowing soil conditions and tunnel alignment in advance allows crews to order materials and plan logistics accurately. This means fewer surprises once excavation starts and less time wasted redesigning mid-construction. Thirdly, contractor selection should be more competitive and transparent. Past delays show that awarding large contracts without adequate scrutiny can lead to legal disputes and slowdowns. Some have suggested using smaller, more segmented contracts for future projects. And finally, communication with the public should be improved. Suggestions were made to have a single spokesperson with all the necessary information to answer questions and address concerns from the public. People deserve to know the issues a project is facing and when trains can be expected to run. Earning public trust is crucial, especially when delays happen. The good news is that Toronto has begun applying lessons from the Eglinton Crosstown to upcoming transit projects. Metrolinx has chosen to partner with AECOM for the Eglinton Crosstown West Extension and Ontario Transit Group for the Ontario Line, aiming to improve coordination and accountability. The agency has also placed greater emphasis on testing vehicles, signaling systems, and other infrastructure earlier in the process to reduce the risk of delays discovered during late-stage testing. In addition, instead of committing to a single fixed opening date, Metrolinx now provides broader projected timelines. For example, the Ontario Line is currently expected to open in the early 2030s. This approach reflects an effort to set more realistic expectations and avoid overpromising. By learning from past delays, the city has a chance to deliver these lines faster, keep costs under control, and get trains ready for riders sooner. With careful application of these lessons, future projects could avoid years of extra delays and billions in unexpected costs. While Toronto finally finished the Eglinton Crosstown, Philadelphia has been dragging its feet in completing its century-old subway project. In this video, we'll take a closer look at the story behind it.